A massive German shepherd got his head trapped between cold metal bars, growling and panicked. Adults stood frozen, unsure how to help. But then a baby crawled forward and did something that stunned everyone. It was a quiet morning in the Willow Creek neighborhood. Everything felt calm until the barking started. At first, it was just one loud bark, sharp and urgent. Then came another, then a deep, panicked howl. From behind the tall iron gate at the end of a side yard, a large German shepherd thrashed and yelped. His massive head was wedged tightly between the cold metal bars. No one knew how he'd done it, but he was stuck and terrified. Within minutes, people emerged from their homes, drawn by the noise. The dog strained with all his strength, trying to pull free, his paws scraping the ground. Saliva dripped from his jaws as he cried out. The peace of the morning had shattered. Now all eyes were on a trapped dog and time was running out. Two neighbors rushed over first, Mr. Halverson from across the street and a teenage boy named Eli. They tried to calm the dog, speaking softly, holding out gloved hands. But the shepherd was frantic. His powerful body slammed against the gate, teeth bared. Not in aggression, but pure panic. He's going to hurt himself, Mr. Halverson muttered, eyes darting nervously. Someone brought a bottle of dish soap, hoping to slick the bars, but it didn't help. Every time they touched his neck or tried to shift his head, the dog jerked violently, yelping in pain. It was clear he didn't understand they were trying to help. A woman called animal control. Another tried to reach the owner. No answer. Eli crouched low, keeping his voice calm. It's okay, boy. Just stay still. But the shepherd was exhausted, panting hard, tongue lolling from his mouth. The tension in the air was thick. They were running out of ideas and the dog was running out of strength. Within minutes, the commotion drew a small crowd. Parents held their kids close. Curious neighbors gathered at a distance and phones started recording. Some offered suggestions. Try turning his head. Use water to cool him down. Maybe cut the bars. But no one had a real solution. The German shepherd, large and muscular, was clearly welfed and cared for. He must have slipped through the yard gate and wedged his head into the bars, chasing something. Now he was trapped, his ears pinned back, eyes wide with fear. A young woman tried coaxing him with treats, but he ignored her, too distressed to focus. The dog let out another guttural cry. That made a few people flinch. He's going to pass out, someone whispered. Mr. Halverson pulled out his phone again, calling animal control for an update. They said 20 minutes, he muttered. 20 minutes could be too late. Everyone stood helpless, watching, and then quietly from the side of the yard came the soft shuffle of tiny feet. While the adults debated and the shepherd struggled, no one noticed the small figure crawling through the grass from a nearby porch. Dressed in soft blue pajamas and tiny sneakers, barely old enough to walk, the baby moved with innocent curiosity, drawn to the sound of the barking. His name was Noah. His mother had turned her back for just a moment to grab his bottle from the kitchen. In that single minute, Noah had slipped through the gate, left ajar, his big blue eyes fixated on the commotion ahead. By the time anyone noticed, he was already halfway across the yard, moving steadily toward the fence. The crowd gasped in unison. Noah! Someone shouted. But the baby didn't stop. He crawled right up to the gate where the shepherd's head was still trapped, and sat down just inches away, his small hands pressing against the iron bars. Everyone held their breath, frozen with fear. One wrong move, and this could turn tragic. Time seemed to stop. The panicked dog, who had been thrashing and howling just seconds ago, suddenly froze. His wild eyes locked onto the baby now sitting calmly in front of him. No growls, no lunges, just a strange stillness, like something sacred had entered the space. Noah blinked up at the dog, completely unafraid. His tiny fingers gripped the edge of the gate and he let out a soft giggle. Pure unfiltered joy. The crowd didn't breathe. One woman stepped forward to grab the baby, but Mr. Halverson stopped her. Wait, he whispered, voice tight with disbelief. Just wait. The shepherd's breathing slowed. His ears once pinned flat, lifted slightly. He let out a low whine. Not of pain, but something almost apologetic. His tail twitching nervously. Moments ago, now lay still. Noah reached through the bars and touched the dog's nose. And for the first time since the whole ordeal began, the German Shepherd closed his eyes. Peace had entered chaos in the form of a baby. Noah's small hand remained on the dog's nose, soft and steady. The shepherd let out a slow, shaky exhale, as though releasing all the fear he'd carried since getting trapped. His muscles, once tight and trembling, slowly began to relax. Noah giggled again and leaned forward, pressing his forehead gently against the bars. The dog didn't flinch. Instead, he responded with a quiet, grateful whimper. And then to everyone's astonishment, he licked the baby's tiny fingers. Gasps rippled through the crowd. "Did you see that?" someone whispered. "He's calm, like he knows him." Eli and Mr. Halverson took slow, careful steps forward, watching for any sign of panic, but the dog stayed still, watching Noah, trusting him. With the shepherd finally calm, the neighbors could get closer. One person gently cradled his body while another examined the gate. "He's not wedged as tight now," someone said. "We might be able to move his head." The baby hadn't just calmed the dog. He had given them their chance. Eli knelt beside the shepherd, his hands moving slowly toward the dog's neck. "Easy, boy," he whispered, glancing at Noah, who still sat calmly nearby. The baby clapped softly as if cheering them on. The dog didn't growl. Didn't resist. His trust in the little human seemed to stretch to everyone around. With Mr. Halverson holding the gate steady, Eli gently tilted the shepherd's head. For 1/10 second, it seemed stuck. Then, with a slight twist and careful nudge, it slipped free. A cheer erupted from the small crowd. The German shepherd stumbled backward, panting heavily, but finally free. He didn't run, didn't bark. He walked straight to Noah and pressed his head gently against the baby's shoulder. Noah let out a delighted squeal and patted the dog's ear. Phones snapped pictures. Some people wiped away tears. It wasn't just the rescue. It was the bond. Grown adults who'd been too afraid to approach the dog now stood clapping, some wiping tears from their cheeks. The baby had done what none of them could. No one could believe this was the same animal that had been snarling and trapped just minutes earlier. Someone said softly, "That baby didn't just save the dog, he changed